Hey guys, notice anything different? Yeah, the layout has changed a little bit because I got the most awesome thing for Christmas, guys. I got, those, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but there's this thing. It's like a camera tripod, but behind it, it has like a spotlight, but it's like in the shape of a ring. But I think it's really cool. You guys can see the box if you want to know what I'm talking about. This is what I'm using to film right now. I'm using the front camera. I'd like to show you guys this. I'm filming with the front camera on the phone. I mean, I should probably use the other side of the phone, the back side of the phone, because it has a higher resolution. But honestly, I think it's good enough for this video. So, Christmas is going to be good. My next video I've been thinking about right now. I might do it right now, or I might make a separate video. There was this explosion, a nuclear explosion in 1986 called Chernobyl. And I've been researching it a lot because it's really fascinating to me. So, basically, they built this nuclear power plant in Soviet Russia in 1986, I think it was. It was like a huge power plant, and they had a whole city so the people working at the power plant could live there. So like I said, it was a big deal at the time. But the power plant itself had a lot of design flaws in it. Like, for example, sorry, I have a little bit of a cold right now, which is why I haven't been making a lot of videos lately. I haven't been active in the YouTube community. Anyways, so basically they were supposed to make the roof out of some kind of fireproof material, but they didn't, and so that ended badly. And so it started with an experiment. They were doing experiments because, so the way it worked was the power plant could keep working even if there was a power outage, But the generators that were there to power the reaction, so the reaction could generate heat and then create steam that drives the turbine, which is how nuclear power plants work. But they basically disabled every single safeguard in the plant that was meant to keep them safe. They disabled the emergency shutoff button, the emergency shutoff controls, emergency cooldown, the automatic control system, all of that. So they were doing it all manually. And then so basically a nuclear power plant is supposed to have 28 control rods to control the reaction. But they started taking them out because there was power failure, and so the machine was running in low power, and they were taking control rods out of it to try to boost the amount of power. Now, the experiment was supposed to be done at 700 megawatts, but there was some kind of problem with the system, and the whole reactor ended up producing 200 megawatts. And the thing about this kind of reactor is it's really unstable when it's running at low power. But they decided, screw it. We'll just keep doing the experiment, right? Because that's a good idea. I don't know why. Basically, the control people, the people working there, the engineers there, are like, yeah, I think we should, shut the experiment down for now and come back in 24 hours and try again when the reactor is at full power, it needs to be 700 megawatts, but it was only 200 megawatts. But they didn't like that idea, so they kept on with the experiment at 200 megawatts, which is a big mistake. Now, this is the part where things start going really wrong. So, someone pushed the emergency shut-off button, and I'm not sure who. No one's really sure who or why they pushed it. But, so the way an emergency shutdown works is it's supposed to sink the control rods into the reactor to stop fission, to completely shut it down. Well, there was a mistake. There was some kind of explosion, and they broke halfway inside. Now, these control rods were made of a mix of barium and graphite. Barium stops the reaction, but graphite can temporarily increase the rate of fission, which made the reactor burn a lot hotter, which was really bad, because in this situation, the fission burned so hot that... Dude, seriously, I'm trying to do a video. Sorry, that was my brother.
Don't tell them away.
Haha. Anyways. Dude, you made me lose my train of thought, though. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the control rods. So when the control rods broke off, they broke off and got stuck with the graphite ends stuck in the reactor, which caused a power surge. And when the power surge happened, of course, energy skyrocketed. And where there's energy heated up the water. And where there's water, there's steam. And steam started coming at such a huge rate that the reactor couldn't vent it. It basically had a meltdown. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm 21. It's okay. Anyways. So, there was tons of steam pouring out of the reactor. Way more than it could vent. Way more than it was ever supposed... Way more steam than was ever supposed to be produced. And so the reactor couldn't handle it, so it exploded. And just that first explosion, it kind of, went through the roof. And everyone was screaming and running for their lives, but the danger wasn't even over yet. Trust me, it wasn't. There was a second explosion, which literally blew the roof sky high. And, everything caught fire, radiation poured out into the surrounding area. It was, madness. It was chaos. Pandemonium, almost. Everyone was scared. It was a big emergency. And a lot of the first responders that went to the reactor to put out the flames, a lot of them were exposed to, deadly amounts of radiation. I remember reading about a firefighter's experience about Chernobyl, and he says he remembers the smell of ozone, and ozone's really, really bad, because that means radiation is super, super high. Super high, kill you dead high. And another fireman, he fell to his knees he fell to his knees and started puking on the ground, which is also a sign of radiation sickness. And they were taken to the hospital. Most of them died, but they put the radioactive clothes in the basement, and they're still reactive to this day. They infected, like, a lot of stuff. The fire burned for 10 whole days. They tried to put it out with a helicopter by, going over it in a helicopter and dumping sand on everything, but then there was a helicopter crash, and that didn't really end up working out the way they wanted it to. But yeah, it was really scary. There was a whole town got evacuated, and this town was like 50,000 people, I think, maybe even more. But they didn't get told about the explosion until 36 hours, and by then it was too late, because they had like lifetime damage from those 36 hours until they saw soldiers walking around with gas masks on, and then the soldiers told them to evacuate. Now the soldiers told them they'd be able to get home in a few days. That's not what happened. It's called the exclusion zone, and that area is still abandoned to this day. It's like no one can live there, and like no one can go there except on tours. And they have to carry some kind of radiation measurer, something giga. It's like, radiation detecting little machines. And it was just really sad. And that's not even to, say how many cancers and birth defects it caused. It's like, and the radiation is still around to this day. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with nuclear power, because they made a lot of mistakes. So in that situation, it wasn't the nuclear power plant's fault. It wasn't the nuclear energy's fault. It was a human error. Okay. Nuclear power is a great solution to a lot of stuff. Like, it doesn't create greenhouse gas like coal or oil plants do. So it is a good way to make power. But this explosion, this natural disaster, it screwed a lot of things up. It made the area around it unlivable, and they had to make a concrete shelter enclosing the reactor, because it was highly radioactive, and it would have kept releasing radioactive material into the atmosphere and into the ground surrounding it if they didn't close it off. Cleanup was a really hard thing and long process. Hey guys, sorry my recording shut off. My phone ran out of storage. But yeah, I hope you liked learning about Chernobyl stuff. I will get an SD card so my camera doesn't run out of memory again, or storage or whatever. So yeah, hope you like this video. If you like this video, of course, please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell icon to get notified every time I make a new video. By the way, if you're wondering what that noise in the background is, I'm watching Weeds. Weeds that show on Netflix. Anyways, bye.